a letter on the opposite second finger. It has a sharp. It goes up into the sharp neighborhood, up on the upper part of the keyboard. And that is F sharp with B to make that true fifth, to make that true fifth of, happens to be a major street. Like if you take C, I remember I just like to always, whenever I'm looking at the major streets, I always like to just take 4, 3, 2, 1 in my left hand and 1, 2, 3, 4 in my right hand and make them into blocks. Because C you can always start at because it's all the letters. You have a perfect whole step, a whole step, a half step, a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, and half step in distancing between each note. 2 whole steps, 1 half step, 3 whole steps, 1 half step. The old rule, that is a major street from the zoning board of Major Town. So, but watch this. If I have to shift every one of my fingers, that's 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 4. If I have to shift it down just 1 half step, 1 chromatic town half step, watch what happens. I go C to B. I go D to C sharp. I go E to D sharp. I go F to E, because E, F, E, F, E, F, E. I go G to F sharp. I go F sharp. I go to A to G sharp, I go B to A sharp, and then I go C to B, and I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1 in my fingers in my left hand, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in my right hand. I have a completely different picture than what I just had, where it was all. It's so easy to play fast because it's going 4, 3, 1, 1, 3, 4. But I'm doing it with 2 hands. So I don't have to worry about crossing underneath my thumb right away, learning that right away, all my fingers right. They used to have to learn all that technique stuff. No, I want to see the block picture. So I want to be able to press every single note down at the same time. So I need both hands for this little demonstration. I need to use both hands all scrunched together. And my thumbs, believe it or not, will always be a whole step apart. No matter what, wherever I am. And then I'll get to learn my other fingers are going to be either a half step or a whole step, depending on the rule of Major Town Zoning Board, which is whole, so. But so that means between my 4th and my 3rd finger, I'm going to always have a whole step. Between my 3rd finger and my 2nd finger, so my left hand, I'm going to always have a whole step. Between my 2nd finger and my 1st finger, I'm always going to have a half step. So watch, if I'm on F, I have to go to A sharp. And then in between my thumbs or my 2 hands, I'm always going to have a whole step. You know, a whole step is 1 note in between. 1 note in between. So if I'm on A sharp, I have to go to C in order to get that 1 note in between. Now from C, I got to go a whole step, which is to D. From D, I have to go to a whole step, which is E. And from E, I have to go to half step, which is F. They're the blocks of F major street. But I want to see them. Look, I press them all down at the same time. The easiest way to do that is to use your 4, 3, 2, 1 finger in your left hand and your 1, 2, 3, 4 in your right hand. To use these block little feelings, and by the same time that you're trying to find what these major streets look like, whether they have 1 sharp, or 2 sharp, or 3 sharps, or 2 sharps, or 5 sharps, I can see all those blocks if I press them all down together. And remember, I'm only starting on letter with my 4th finger down here. Making blocks, and I'm all of a sudden learning those correct 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. And then from that half step, my eyes are starting to see that 5th, that 6th, that major 7th, and that 8th. Just by pressing down these blocks. And it sounds cool too. I'm trying to say it's always major 7 I want to see. I want to see major 7. I want to see major 7 in the distance between my hands. How can I see that? First, blocking all of the possible notes in a major street together using 2 hands. Not that you'll need to play all the time like that, but it'd be fun to play like, you know, like 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. then skipping up an octave to the next octave, farther away from the city, farther away from the city, and then closer to the city, closer to the city, closer to the city, closer to the forest, closer to the city, closer to the city, closer to the city. But then backwards, going 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're actually doing licks on the piano in major streets of all the possible streets. But the cool thing is you're not just practicing scales, those old things that you used to hear about when the old-fashioned way of learning how to play keys. This is a completely different way. You're looking at them first as blocks, as little blocks of street. Hi, I'm on A Street, A major street. Hi, I'm on B major street. I'm on C major street. I'm on D major street. I'm on E major. This is kind of block looking that you're looking at. This, and then here, hey, I'm on this block. Now I'm into this block. Now I'm into this block. I'm into this block. All of a sudden, your eyes are picking. Oh, I have to hit certain number of sharps in between my fingers. But even in between my fingers, I'm starting to learn to feel whole steps or half steps. Oh, do I need to go a whole step from a sharp to a sharp, or from a letter to letter? Or do I need to go a half step from a sharp to a letter, from a letter to a sharp? Or in the case of B, C, B, C, E, F, B, C, B, C, E, F, B, C, B, C, E, F, B, C, B, C, E. In the case of B, C, B, C, E, F, you're always a half step. Touching. But otherwise, to be a half step, you have to be touching. From a letter to a sharp, or from a sharp to a letter. Sometimes there's a letter to a letter, or a letter to a letter, but there's a lot of times a sharp. Anyway, to feel that versus a whole step, which is one note in between, like from C to D, or from B to C sharp. What does it feel to go that whole step and kind of angle right away in between my two? Well, these blocks can help teach your fingers and your eyesight those feels. So you don't even have to look at the keys anymore. You know you're going whole step, half step, whole step, half. You know you're playing a whole major street. Once again, based off of the letters only. But the cool thing is, isn't that nice? It's having great times. Also learning all the possible notes of a major street. The first house of a major street. The second house of a major street. The third house of a major street. The fourth house of a major street is covered in your left hand. In your right hand, you're picking it up whole step away from number 4, which is your thumb. I'm picking up my 5th house of my major street. I'm picking up my 6th house with my second finger of my right hand of a major street. I'm picking up the major 7th house of a major 7th street in my 3rd finger. And in the 4th finger, I'm picking up that half step away from major 7 of a major street. Here's the cool thing. Look at my fingers. They have to touch each other. And then even between my 1st and my 2nd and my 3rd, I have to have that whole step distance, feel, touch. True one. Well, that's a knowledge thing that you would learn if you were practicing these blocks of these major streets. Pressing them all down at the same time, or going in alternating 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 3, 4. A lot more fun to play that way than the other old-fashioned way where you have to cross under your thumb or whatever. You're going to learn how to cross under your thumb anyways, naturally. But what you need to do is see. It's seeing the stuff that's so much more important. It's seeing those pictures in between the sharps, whether you have to play 2 sharps or 1 sharp or 4 sharps or whatever in that block. It's seeing that interval. It's seeing what that is, that it's so important.